If you're ever asked to play a game where you have to shove marshmallows in your mouth, don't do it. It might sound delicious, but don't do it. Long Lost stars Adam Weppler, Catherine Corcoran, Nicholas Tucci, and is directed by Eric Blomquist. What is up, guys? I'm excited because I get to support an independent film. I get offered a lot of screeners through my email, and I don't do that many of them. And the reason being is because a lot of them, I'll look at the trailer, and then if it's not something that grabs my fancy, then I'm not going to watch it, and then I'm not going to review it. Shallow as that sounds. But every now and then a trailer will grab my attention, and I'll watch it and review it. This particular trailer, this director, Eric Blomquist, he sent me this trailer and the screener, and he said, hey, I'd like you to check out my movie. And I checked out the trailer, and the trailer really grabbed me immediately. One reason is because the erotic thriller genre, it's a really shaky genre, and it's one that hasn't been around in a long time. And I think it's a tough genre to crack because you have a fine line there, you know? If you go too far into the erotic, then nobody really takes your movie seriously. That's why we have so many few great erotic thrillers like Basic Instinct. Because Basic Instinct actually has a really good story. It has, more importantly, one of the most memorable characters out there, and it's got an interesting premise. This actually kind of fits into that realm. You can tell that this director, Eric Blomquist, really took this seriously. He wrote this script, actually. So I'm excited to share this with you guys, you know, because when you go into an independent film, you never know what you're going to get, you know. But I could tell just from the trailer that the production value on this was pretty high, actually. And it's got a couple actors that really, you know, stuck out to me. One of them was Nicholas Tucci, who you might remember from You're Next. And I will say, in You're Next, he is probably one of the most interesting characters in that movie. You know, he's a pivotal character in that movie. And you have to have a great actor to pull off that character. And he did a fantastic job. And really, he is one of the most important characters in this movie because he is very eccentric. So let me back up here a little bit. Let me tell you about the story. Our main character, Seth, played by Adam Weppler, he gets this letter from this guy claiming to be his brother, his half-brother, Richard. And, you know, this is a guy that he's never met. He didn't even know that he had a half-brother. So he shows up to this house. It's a freaking mansion. And, you know, it's out in the middle of nowhere. And so he doesn't know what to expect. But, you know, of course he would go because this is his brother. And so when he shows up, that's when things start feeling off. And this is where you're going to get vibes like The Invitation. That's a movie I reviewed a couple years ago, and it just has this really off feeling, this off vibe about it throughout. And that's what this movie did. And I love movies like that, actually, that, you know, they kind of put you off center a little bit and you never know what's going to happen. Because I guess we're kind of like Seth. You know, we don't know what's going on. Seth doesn't know what's going on. He never knows what's around the corner. And these characters are really interesting. First off, Richard, played by Nicholas Tucci. Like I said, this is a very interesting actor because he does a great job throughout this whole movie, actually. He really commands this role. It's a very eccentric, cold, you know, he is this rich guy and he's just so weird and off. And he's his brother, but it's like every encounter that they have together, you never know what's going to happen. You never know, you know, the smallest little thing could set Richard off. And so, you know, he's just all over the place, but in the best way. It's a well-structured character, actually. And then you got this other character, Abby, who happens to be Richard's girlfriend. And throughout the movie, she's making passes at Seth. And so Seth is, you know, this is a very seductive woman, but she happens to be the girlfriend of his brother. So there's a lot to play with there, you know, tension-wise. And this movie, it never really lets up. You know, it has a nice cadence to it. It starts off nice and slow, and it kind of, you know, leans you into the characters. And then by the time you get to the end of the movie, it's really nail-biting, actually. One thing I loved the most about it was the last act. Because as you're going through this movie, you never know how this thing's going to end. But once you get to the last act, I guarantee you won't even predict this. And of course, I'm not going to tell you what the last act is, but all I can say is it's so worth it. This was actually a really good movie, which surprised me. And I'm not knocking independent film. There are so many great independent films out there, but there's a lot of bad ones too. And you get the same thing with big budget films, of course, probably even more. But anytime I get the chance to support independent film, I'm all over it. Because, you know, I know the work that has to go into these movies. You know, oftentimes they have very little funding to work with. And this looks like a well-produced movie. It looks like an A-level production. And I have to give Eric Blomquist major credit for that. Also, earlier I mentioned that this house is like out in the middle of nowhere. You're gonna get strong like vibes from The Shining in this, which is kind of why I wore my red rum shirt. And you got this character that's like stuck in this house, and as the movie goes along, he starts losing his mind. So really with this movie, you got a nice mix of genres. You know, you got the erotic thriller, you got a little bit of horror there, and you got some really eccentric characters. So to me, that makes for a fun movie experience. And guys, I actually had a really fun time with this movie. I'm gonna give it a low purchase worthy. And it makes me excited because it's just living proof that, you know, there are so many great movies out there that a lot of us don't even get the chance to check out, you know, because they're not marketed at the level that, you know, these bigger Hollywood studio movies are marketed. So guys, I will put an Amazon affiliate link for Long Lost below in the info box. Be sure to go down there, give that movie a rent. It actually goes live on tomorrow, the 10th of April. So be sure to check this movie out. I think you won't regret it. I think you'll have a good time with this, actually. And let me know in the comments what you think. So anyway, guys, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day, and on Fridays we do Free For All Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. If you like what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and Drumdum out.